Good morning, and thank you for joining me. Currently looking at an update. This is an older update. This is from February. This is 02/25, so right here, 25th of February 2025. So this is last week's update, the one that had all those earthquakes. This is the one that had, I believe, 119, no, 121. This was 121 earthquakes. And right there, the uplift was very fast. A very fast uplift. But then it slowed down. You see right there? There was a kind of a drop off there. You had very rapid uplift and then a drop off. So the uplift rate definitely accelerated quite a bit. We had some rapid uplift last year. You're almost getting up to 200, but it seems like the uplift rate is getting even faster right now. We started below 200. We're only in March now, and we're already, I would say we've had close to, in the first quarter of the year, last year we went 40, and then in the second quarter we went from about 40 to about 100. So that was about 60. So like you had a very rapid uplift rate, and then you had a stagnant phase late in the year. December was very quiet, and then it looks like there was some discrepancies. Maybe there was a issue here, and then uplift continued. That's the older one. Let's look at the present one. This is for this week, I believe. Nope, that's again old. That's weird. I could have sworn. Oh, there we go. This is, I don't know why I got two of the same ones. Because I clearly said the first one. There we go. March 2nd. Okay. Right here. And then. Yeah. It gets kind of fuzzy. It looks like there's some sort of fuzziness here. But here, you can clearly see there's another uptick in uplift. It looks like there's some sort of GPS issue, possibly. Alrighty, it looks like, yeah, it's a bit of a scatter plot here, but then look what happens here. Yeah, so there's a possibly more rapid uplift occurring. Yeah, that's not good at all. That's bad. Those are probably the different sensors. Yeah. So it does look like there's going to be some very, very rapid, or it was some very rapid uplift last year. And now it looks like it's resuming. So this is getting me concerned about another major earthquake swarm. I believe we might have some large earthquakes around possibly April, March and April. Might have one later in the month, maybe in April. Maybe the next seismic crisis won't happen for a few more months, but keep in mind, in February, we likely had over 2,200 earthquakes. Let's see if the new update came in. So let's go surveillance, monthly, MENSILE. I think it's still only for January. I don't think February has been up yet. I think it's still only going to be for January. Yeah, see? I think it's going to be a couple more days. They'll make a monthly update for February. Because of all the earthquakes we've had, this update might take quite a bit. So yeah, let's look at weekly. Okay. Let's look at the uplift rate for here. This is when the big seismic swarm happened. This is when it first started. You had the, I believe, 86 earthquakes. This is like the beginning of the seismic crisis. Again, let's check uplift rates at that time. Yeah. Looks like it was slow and then it kind of accelerated. Yeah, it was likely that acceleration that caused those earthquakes. Yeah. It doesn't actually seem that fast. Then look what happened. So you were right around the 200 mark, 200 millimeter mark. And that was just a few weeks ago. Just a few weeks ago. And now, well above 200. I mean, look at this. Literally, like, this was... Yeah, this is not good. I mean, we just went like... Yeah, uplift rates have really just accelerated. Yeah, this is some very rapid uplift rates. Yeah, look at that here. Crazy thing is, there weren't actually that many earthquakes at this time. This seismic crisis actually happened around this area, April and May. And then look at this, and then it just slowed down, and now it's accelerating again. And this slowed down, and after right around as we get into the latter half of 2024 is when the uplift slowed down. Let's look at CO2 emissions, or FLX OV8. How much CO2 flux there is. Flux of CO2. I don't know if that's emissions. This is looking at fumarole temperatures, but look, there's been an increase once again. Fumarole temperatures have been increasing. They were very high, like in 17, 18, 19. There's been a slight drop. And now looks like there's been an increase again. Let's look at if I could see monthly. Okay, let's look at monthly again. MENSILE. Okay, let's look at year 2025. Let's look at January. I mean, yes, it's an option for another. But okay, that's the April and May seismic crises. So April was the most active month. At least up to this point, this was already the most active month since the 80 seismic crisis. And actually, it was already the record-breaking. This shattered the records. And this is how much seismic energy was released. And let's look at CO2 flux. April, May, you had all these earthquakes. Distribute of depth. Profondità is depth in Italian. Distribuzione profondità is distribution of depth. So these are regular weak earthquakes. These are stronger earthquakes. Right here. It doesn't say what it is here, see? A left. 12 mesi, 12 months. a sinistra. Sinistra means left. So this is 12 months. See, 12 months. And this is over the course of a few days. You know, over a course of 1 month. You know, very small distribution of earthquakes. Again, this is April, May, June, July, August, September. This is now January we're looking at. So let's look at May. Let's look towards May. Let's go back and look at 2024, and we're going to look at May, which was the most active month. 5. So let's look at that. And it will show you when the swarm happened. Because you did have, again, right here. You had two swarms. You had a big swarm here and a big one here. Look at that. And then you had a lot of quakes dispersed, but look. You had a big swarm in around September 23. Break, you know, low seismic activity, then a slight increase, and then boom, April. But look at that. You did have swarm and a break, you know, April, May 4th, and another one around the 18th, around the 19th, going to the 20th. So let's look at CO2 flux again, because I know I was looking at a chart and it shows some sharp increase in CO2 emissions. Yeah, 2005 through 2024. So this is increase in seismic energy. See, energy cultivated. This is seismic rialsco, energetico culminativo. So cultivated a cultivation of energy. How much it was cumulative. Sorry, I am a little dyslexic. So yeah, this is cumulative energy. How much is seismic energy has accumulated? Right here, this was April and May. Right here, look at that. That's probably from that 4.4. And then look, because we're looking right now at December. Let's look at June. Let's look at June. This is 1 month after the seismic crisis. Yep, you did have an earthquake. And oh, that's actually right near Monte Novo. This is Solfatara, Minicium, Bagnoli, Napoli. Napoli here, also inside Caldera. So this increase in land, they're saying this is pyroclastic flow deposits. I think yes, it is a bit of a plateau, but I think some of the reason why this is so high up, well, this is so low, yeah, this is a part of the caldera, but I also think besides those deposits, this could have been an ancient stratovolcano at one point, long time ago, or a lava dome complex. Because keep in mind that magma type at Campi Flegrei is viscous. It's high. It's alkali rich and potassium rich. So very unusual magma type for a subduction zone. But this is usually the case with back arc ridging, with back arc volcanism, with subduction zones. And Campi Flegrei may actually be a back arc. Like the Kermadec Islands, for instance, I believe, they're not a back arc, they're like subduction. But Iwo Jima is back arc. That's why it has trachyte magma and not the typical basaltic andesite that you have with felsic magmas, with low potassium magmas. These are high potassium magmas. Vesuvius and Campi Flegrei are both high potassium. Same with Vulcano. Vulcano, I believe, Vulcano, island of Vulcano, and Vulcano, island is so the island is named after the volcano, which has the volcano with the same name. In fact, the name volcano comes from the volcanic island Volcano, which volcanoes get their name from. It's explosive. It produces volcanian eruptions. Again, its namesake, volcano, vulcanian. Magma type at volcano. Volcanian eruptions are actually associated more with felsic magmas, andesite, dacite magmas. In fact, Semeru and Ibu frequently produce volcanic eruptions because of their dacite. Ibu frequently produces small volcanic eruptions. When the dacite lava dome has, there's small plugs that build and, gas is released. With Campi Flegrei, I'm not worried about an eruption. No. I'm worried more of large earthquakes damaging property, hurting people. That's the issue. The issue at Campi Flegrei is tectonic right now. Yes, the earthquakes are caused by uplift, but not the movement of magma. You might also be getting some hydrothermal earthquakes, but the main cause is uplift. The uplift is causing a lot of tectonic pressure to build. Keep in mind, Campi Flegrei does not have a lot of geysers. Yes, you got Fumarole Pisciarelli, which is basically a very, very active fumarole that's so powerful that it produces almost geyser-like mounds of water. But it's actually because the fumarole is so powerful. It's basically a jet. I was there. I have a video. It's on my other YouTube channel called Andy's Weather Center. The name of the video is called Fumarole Pisciarelli Super Volcano. And I actually made an update about it, about how what I did was very dangerous, because that area is now permanently closed off. The road that led to there, that was near the soccer field, they destroyed that path. They realized it was too dangerous that people were going there, and they completely blocked off the access. Not just blocked it off, but they blocked off access and also made it so that no one can actually go there anymore. It's not just a gate. I think they tore up the road leading there, and now it's not possible to go there anymore. There's another seismic area that's right near the Volkswagen dealership. It's where there was a drilling attempt that went wrong. They're trying to tap into to invest in hydrothermal energy, because there's basically a field of fumaroles there, very geothermically active area, with new thermal areas developing. Literally on the side of the hill, there's steam and fumarolic gases escaping. A lot of sulfur, a lot of water vapor, but it is wet. It is definitely moist. So there's definitely a lot of moisture down there, likely from groundwater. A lot of groundwater, so definitely increased threats of phreatic eruptions. So phreatic eruptions are definitely possible. In fact, let me change the title. Campi Flegrei Uplift. Gray. Save. Okay, there we go. I think that will. So again, Campi Flegrei is experiencing uplift. In fact, I'm going to go back to Portal. Not much earthquake activity. It's been pretty quiet. However, I believe in a couple days, when the seismic, when all the total earthquakes are counted, because there were some that were not counted. Oh, looks like we had something. Let's see. Looks like it was kind of far. I believe it was near the ocean. I believe it was this area. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is the one that's under the water. This is the one that's in the middle of the Gulf of Pozzuoli. I call it a bay, but it's It's called the Golfo di Pozzuoli, or the Gulf of Pozzuoli. Yep, that's definitely in the ocean. Yep. That's probably a magnitude high end 1, low end 2. But it was seen on all the seismic stations, so yeah, probably about a 2. Let me type in Seismolab. No. Terremoto. Oh, wait, I forgot. I'm going to have to do that on my phone. Okay, I got 6 minutes left before I got to go to bed. I put a timer because I need to get at least 6 hours of sleep. So, it's got a long day today. I got an essay I got to finish. I got to... I am only 2 semesters away from graduating from SUNY Oswego with a major in broadcasting and a minor in meteorology. I was going to graduate this semester. However, I decided to add a minor in meteorology in order to extend my stay at SUNY Oswego for a little while longer in order to get some experience from the TV and radio station to build for my reel. As well as going on a storm chasing class that will be held later this semester. This is why I am emailing you. The trip takes place in May, and is about having students observe, forecast, understand the atmospheric dynamics, I actually believe that storm initiation will actually be right in this area. Right here is where I believe storm initiation. Alrighty. That's right. I don't think the general public should have access to scientific information. I just don't think, they're not. So, are you kidding me? Of course the population should be stupid. Oh. That precedes and follows severe weather events. and how different severe weather I would have been doing it the Pecos Hank way, sleeping in a car. Storm. Да, конечно, у меня окно было спущено. Yeah, just some grits. All right. Sorry, I was starting to doze off. Yep, that's the alarm to help me go to bed. I started typing up my script, my letter of recommendation to go storm chasing. Yeah, I have to have a certain amount of letters of recommendation. It's a little complicated, but because that's actually what I said. Alrighty. I said that was for me. Alright. Anyway, looking at all these parameters, not parameters, that's weather stuff. Looking at all this uplift, very likely that we're going to have more earthquakes in the upcoming weeks. You know how there's information is free flowing and free and available to the public? This should not be behind a paywall. Information should be free and free flowing. You know? Right here, look at that. Let's go to Nevada. Just want to look at Iwo Jima. Yeah. Oh. I hate when that happens. Here we go. Come on. Load. Wow. That's something new. Probably has to do with one of Trump's. Probably has something to do with Trump, maybe. Looks like, yeah, looks like it's down. Yeah, look at that. Unbelievable. That's new. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Geodesy UNR. I'm going to check if it's down or if it's something else. Is it down? Nevada Geodetic Library, it's down. It could also be just a server error, but it's the whole website that's down. It's not just, yeah, it's not just like, oh, it's one part of the website. The whole thing is down. Yeah, for those of you watching, we currently in America have a president that is cutting funding to very, very important parts of, the government. Not like, okay, cutting spending on unnecessary things like, pork belly spending, or, you know, like, like unnecessary things. But weather and science information that's available to the public is very, very important, especially forecasting, having free-flowing information available. That's paramount to having people understand who may not have a scientific background, who may not have money to go to college, to be able to access free-flowing information and not, come up to false conclusions like, like Mary Greeley, for instance, who just says things and acts like a complete quack. I mean, she's not a quack, but she acts like one, and she needs to, stop being involved in all these conspiracy theories. Like HARP, for instance, which does not change the weather. It doesn't cause hurricanes. Hurricane Milton blew up into a monster because it was going over, one, very, very warm water temperatures, unusually warm for that time of year, was in an area of almost no wind shear, atmosphere was very moist, and it did what Hurricane Wilma did in 2005. It may have actually gotten lower. Problem is, the hurricane hunters flew into Milton when the pressures were already going up. Milton already was undergoing an IWL replacement cycle 2 hours before the hurricane hunters actually flew into the storm. There was a 6-hour gap. In that 6-hour gap, I've been estimating the rate of pressure descent. It likely went down into the 880s. I was extrapolating at how fast the pressures were dropping. It was very fast. I mean, we might have had Milton beat Wilma's record had the hurricane hunters timed it differently. They might have found under 880. It could have been stronger than tip. We might have had pressures in the, at least, and at the very least, I'm going to just, this is probably the strongest, for a brief moment, it might have been 877, 878, but then Milton was weakening for about 2 or 3 hours and pressures were going up steadily. Actually pretty fast. So the weakening probably started around 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or even 4:30, but they flew into Milton around 6:30. So pressures were already going up. But still, second strongest hurricane ever recorded in the Gulf of Mexico. Still very impressive. And it weakened. It underwent an IWL replacement cycle, even went below Category 5 strength, became a Category 5 again, and then made landfall in Tampa as a Category, near Tampa as a Cat 3. So very, very strong system. And of course, the Atlantic hurricane season this past hurricane season, was actually expected to be even stronger than it actually was because of, the fact we were having La Nina, and the Atlantic Ocean was the warmest ever, but the Saharan air layer, all the dry air and dust that blows off the Sahara actually stifled hurricane development. It was a little more active this year than normal. If it wasn't for that, we might have had more hurricanes. And also, the Madden-Julian oscillation also was a little bit off, which allowed for less hurricanes. But it definitely, things turned around September and October. Things got very active. Again, this website is down right now. It might just be, it could be because of the school website, but it could be the website itself that's down, which is not very good. That's pretty concerning, if you ask me. So I'm probably going to have to, hopefully that's, I'm going to check on my computer or my phone to see if I can access it. The atmosphere. Can you please tell my professor, Dr. Steiger, dedicated of a student I was, and how I graduated with honors from LaGuardia. Right. Good night. Thank you for watching, and good night. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, going to bed. This website is indeed down. Maybe I'll get an update from Twitter about why they're follow. Oops. I still want to not yet. Okay. Tweet to them. What happened to the website? Website maintenance. There we go. There we go. Our pages will be down for places. Okay, there we go. Thursday morning. This was 2 years ago. Yeah, so now I know what's going on. Okay. So that was server maintenance. Okay, so it's not because of Trump. That's why you want to know, because there's so much, like, both truth but also misinformation going around, such as, you know, who's Trump going to fire? Is he going to get rid of entire departments? Is he going to fire people who are long-standing, you know, like climate scientists, like people who, you know, like who accurately report on climate change? Will they be fired for, you know, reporting the truth because Trump doesn't agree with it? Like, is that going to happen is the question. Or is it just going to be budget cuts, you know, but still firing people who earn that position is still wrong, you know? Budget cuts or not, you can't just fire people like that. You know, you have to do a performance meeting. You have to, you know, give them a reason why they're being fired. For instance, they're union employees. You know, they earned their position. They're government employees. This is a violation of labor standard laws. This is illegal, what is going on. This is absolutely illegal. You know, there might be some loopholes this, you know, he could find, but it's technically illegal under both federal and state laws. This is illegal because it's a violation of the National Labor Relations Board, violations of so many laws that were passed to protect workers, both, you know, private sector employees, federal, you know, state workers, you know, workers in general, people who contribute to society, not just government jobs, but private sector too. Honestly, firing people who, you know, just sit behind a desk, this is not a bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is where Congress, for instance, that's kind of bureaucratic. Like, you have to pass laws and stuff. But, or, you know, like when you apply for benefits, you have to go through a process because it has to go through reviews. That's a bureaucracy. But bureaucracies are needed You know, it shouldn't be like it was in the Soviet Union where it was like all encompassing, but you know, you have people to do jobs, right? Like you have supervisors and stuff like that. In my opinion, I believe there should be less supervisors. People should be just doing their work. Like there should be, you know, professionals, but like it should be more horizontal. Like it should be a non-hierarchical, you know, no hierarchy. There should be less hierarchy. There should be more of a fair system in place to ensure that people who work, you know, don't have to do the job of 10 people. Like, oh, can you do a, oh yeah, he's out tomorrow. Can you come in and do a double shift when you did a double or even a triple yesterday? Most likely double. Imagine doing double shifts. Yeah, you get extra money, but all you get is time and a half. And some jobs, like Amazon, you know, the driver job, you don't get holiday pay, for instance. You know, and you get unpaid breaks. You're literally working during, and you get an unpaid break while working. And you're basically told you have to take the break. And then when you take the break, you're falling behind. So a lot of Amazon drivers, including myself, would put in that we took a break when really we're actually working because we have to finish that route because the route is so heavy. Amazon DSP workers are treated like shit. You know, the pay is okay, but the workload is very, very high. You're doing a very high workload. You're multitasking. You're driving a vehicle, delivering packages. You're literally doing the job of 3 different people. You're doing the job of the driver. You're doing the job of the delivery person, and you're also doing the job of the loader. Like with UPS, you know, someone loads your van and then you deliver the packages. But with Amazon, you do all of that yourself. And on top of that, there is no like 5-year pay. Like I talked to some people who've been 5 years. They're like still getting 24, 25 an hour. You know, only a couple dollars more than, you know, someone who started 5 years ago. There's almost no like pay increase. The only way you'll get an increase is if you get a promotion to maybe being a manager or assistant manager or what's the word? What's the name? Like if you get a full-time position like doing paperwork. I believe it's like payroll or something. I think that's very unfair. And imagine you're doing 10 times as hard as someone else and get promoted because, you know, the manager likes them better, you know? It should be where it's based on productivity, but also based on merit. So this whole system of like the way Amazon does things, it's very capitalistic. So unsurprising that Jeff Bezos is gravitating towards Amazon. You know, realizing that, hey, you know, I mean, Trump, you know, a lot of these corporations have really been pretending to be Democrats, but really have been Republicans or just pro-capitalist, pro-exploitation. I mean, there's nothing wrong with work, you know, working, making money, and like hiring other people to work for you. But you got to treat them right. You can't treat them and, you can't treat them and expect them to do jobs of 3 different people. And there's always a shortage of workers. I wonder why. The DSP system does where they do a system of hiring not nonprofits, but it's called a DSP delivery service partner. So it's basically you're a contract employee. You're a contract. Meaning you're not working for Amazon, but Amazon basically gives you a quota that you have to meet of how many packages you need to deliver. It's called I believe it's called you're given basically how many packages you're supposed to deliver in an hour or in a day, and it gives you a graph. When I first started back in 2020, it was very reasonable, But as time went on, the workload just got higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And then they'll be like, imagine like, demand goes down. They'll be like, hey, you know what? Oh, hey, I'm sorry, but we don't need you tomorrow. We have enough drivers. And like, it's not like, it is very like flexible, but at the same time, there's no stability. You don't get a constant schedule. I'm glad that the place that I worked at for almost a year and a half is unionized now. That's what I'm probably going to do. After I graduate school, I'm probably going to go back to DBK4 and try to get a job there. Yes, I'm saying this on YouTube. I want to work there because it's union. It's freaking Teamsters. Teamsters. Go Teamsters. All the way. Union forever. Solidarity forever. The rights of the workers shall be guaranteed. The rights of all citizens shall be guaranteed. Not just the workers, but disabled people as well. Because disabled people, it's not their fault they're disabled, No one is responsible for disabilities. Like, even if, like, you get into a car accident, or you get hurt at work, like, it's happened to me too. I have a lifelong disability. I have several disabilities, and I just discovered I had another condition called Cushing's disease, which makes me carry an extra 100 pounds of belly fat, all because I have too much cortisol in my blood, because I have a tumor. Yeah. I'm saying it as is because it's basically the only explanation. It's like, we narrowed it down, me and my endocrinologist narrowed it down, that it cannot be insulin resistance. Even though I'm taking Ozempic for the weight, I'm just trying to cut my appetite. Like, I have, very slim arms. Like, I have slim arms, slim legs. I could even see my collarbone a little bit. When I, like, lift up my shoulder, I can see my wrist bone easily. And yet I'm 290 pounds, right? It's so weird that I have to wear, like, size 40 pants, like jeans. But I have to wear size 44, size 46 when I'm wearing dress pants, because it won't go over my belly if it's like 40, or even 42 is too small. Like, size 40, it feels kind of loose on my waist. I have to wear a belt with 42 is loose, 40 fits a little snug, and 38 is like very snug on my waist. I actually prefer 38 right now for my waist, but over my belly, I need like 44, but if I put it on my waist, it'll just fall down right to my ankles. It's kind of weird. Normally that's a sign of insulin resistance, belly fat, but I don't have insulin resistance, so. My blood glucose is good. Fasting blood glucose is good. I would eat, check my blood sugar, it barely goes up. Not insulin resistance. Insulin resistance would indicate that blood sugar goes up and stays up. My case, my body responds pretty well to insulin. Like, my blood sugar doesn't go down to the 60s anymore like it used to. I mean, like, my blood sugar would just crash. That's probably because when I was younger, I was kind of I had anorexia. I actually, even though I did not meet the weight criteria for it, I was anorexic. Like, I ate all my food, but I was like, I would try to like compensate my calories by exercising more than what I ate. Like, I would try to always put myself in a calorie deficit all the time. So when I was in a special ed school, I constantly cut portions in the latter half of my first year and for all of my second year. However, I plateaued at 150. My body entered a plateau. But a lot of that was because of, increasing muscle mass, because I was very active. I was actually in great shape. However, I could see my collarbones like crazy, like really sticking out like crazy. I could see my tendons when I was sitting down, on the legs. When you sit, like, they were sticking out pretty much. And I was able to wrap my thumb, both my hands around my thigh, like near the knee. I was able to wrap, like, I was pretty slim. Yet my BMI was showing otherwise. It was showing like 20, 21. Yet I had a belly. It was kind of flattish, but there was a little bit of a bulge. And it wasn't because, and it wasn't flabby or anything. It was just there. And I started to see some tone. Like I could see, like, it's possible that I was like, because I was doing so many sit-ups, but really it was because there was like a little bulge in the middle, and that wasn't actually my abs. It was actually some belly fat that was there. That was stubborn belly fat. Probably because of Cushing's, because I still had some chub in the belly, even though I was very, like, doing a lot of sit-ups. My BMI was like getting lower and lower. And the school put me on a double portion diet because they saw how skinny I looked everywhere else. They didn't care about my belly fat. They cared more about, I had no health issues, actually. My blood sugar was good. Everything else was good. I felt great. And then I got very demotivated when they made me eat the double portions. And they also cut my exercise time. And I told them what was going to happen if they did that. And sure enough, exactly what I expected happened. My weight shot right back up. My belly came back. My BMI was still healthy, but I was wearing size 36 on my waist, yet over my belly, it wouldn't fit. I had to get size 38 to go over my belly, yet on my waist, it would be like between 34 and 36. It definitely was like insulin resistance. Sound like it too, but it wasn't. It was actually possibly this whole time since my early childhood been Cushing's. Actual Cushing's. Cushing's disease, not syndrome. Cushing's syndrome is caused by corticosteroid use, using an inhaler constantly. Like if you're on prednisone for a while, you might develop Cushing's, get purple stretch marks. And I actually got that too. When I jumped up like crazy in my weight, I noticed purple stretch marks. And I was like, oh. I'm like, they don't hurt. Why are they purple? Like when I jumped 40 pounds, suddenly, I was already like obese, but there was another jump in body weight. And this happened after a very bad stress event. And yeah, purple stretch marks, but I wasn't taking any corticosteroids. That's the thing. I've taken prednisone before, but I've never noticed it causing an increase in body weight. It probably means I already had a lot of cortisol to begin with. And yeah, so I'm talking about my health here, but yeah. Cushing's is not like diabetes where you have to deal with it your whole life and take a lot of meds and monitor your weight for the rest of your life. Cushing's is actually very treatable. It's actually one of those diseases that everyone should get checked for. Hey, your kid is overweight, has a big belly, he's being bullied in school, yet you know he's eating right. Don't body shame him, though. Take him to an endocrinologist and tell them how he's eating healthy. You don't know what's wrong with him. Teenagers are supposed to eat a lot. That's normal during puberty. So I would say check the cortisol. Do the DST test. I think the DST test should be standard. It should be standard operating procedure for all endocrinologists. I think everyone should go to see an endocrinologist if they have weight issues. Check, rule out insulin resistance, thyroid. If it's not your diet, it's got to be one of three things. Insulin resistance, especially if it's genetic. 2, Cushing's disease, especially. And 3, hypothyroidism. Especially if you're short and overweight, it's likely your thyroid. You got to get it checked. And you need to start taking iodine supplements. Start taking thyroid stimulating medication. But you got to start taking iodine supplements. Eat iodized salt. If you're going to do salt, do iodized. It will help your thyroid. and it will help your body metabolism increase. The cause of Cushing's is a non-cancerous benign tumor known as a adenoma, normally in the pituitary, but it could be at other areas too. But it's almost always a pituitary adenoma. Sorry. Oh, that was wind. The wind just closed my door. So yes, you need to lower, get your thyroid to be more active. How do you do that? Eat fish, seaweed, especially if you're a vegetarian and or vegan. Eat seaweed. Go and buy dried seaweed. Very high concentration of omega-3s. And also has iodine. Maybe not a large amount, but it has iodine. Also, go swim a lot in the ocean. You will definitely get iodine through the ocean. Especially if you live in a tropical area, swim a lot in the ocean. But also, too much iodine can also cause hypothyroidism, because if you're getting too much of it. If you have a thyroid tumor, you'll most likely have the opposite problem. You'll be very tall, very skinny, because you'll have a very, very fast metabolism. You also don't want to increase the also, if you want to lose weight because of hyperthyroidism, try to drink coffee, but make sure it has no sugar and just a little bit of cream. I would put Splenda in it. Splenda is actually one of those non-chemical sugars. Yes, it is sucralose. It is a little artificial, but it causes a laxative effect. It actually helps the digestive system. It helps get rid of excess poop, so it helps with that. What is it called? Splenda, but don't use too much of it. That can cause an increase in unhealthy bacteria and yeast. So just use it sparingly, enough to make your coffee sweet. But don't drink too much coffee either, because that could make your heart go too fast. So I would say drink about 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine a day. If you do have hypothyroidism, I would not recommend using stimulants that are too strong. To 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine. Don't do energy drinks like Red Bull, because that could get your body used to that kind of metabolism, and it will start storing even more fat. So also try to exercise, go to the gym more. But really, you should be working more on your thyroid by eating foods that will stimulate the production of the hormone that is produced by the thyroid to stimulate the metabolism. But for Cushing's, I would recommend just getting rid of that sucker. Just getting rid of the tumor. Do CyberKnife. Do not do a surgery. Surgery will always have complications. Yes, faster, but it's also much more expensive, has higher risks. So the obvious solution is to do CyberKnife. Yes, you will get radiation, but it's not like going all over your body. It's in a small radius that is being targeted. And you do have to be very still during the procedure. It's not pinpoint. It's not like where they target radiation to such a microscopic level or such a small level. But it will help the tumor stop growing and possibly eventually die off, and you will lose a lot of weight, especially if it's Cushing's. With Cushing's, you will see results within a few months to a year. You will probably start losing weight. You'll notice your belly size going down. Like if I'm 300 pounds and I have Cushing's right now, within a year of doing nothing, like everything the same, I would probably be about 30 or 40 pounds lighter. I do think I also do have a history of insulin resistance in my family, so most likely my Cushing's It could be insulin resistance because my A1C is about in the fives, like 5.7. But most likely, insulin resistance could also be a sign of Cushing's too. So let's look up. Yep, this is exactly what I looked like. Huh. Unbelievable. Glucose tolerance defects. Huh. Osteoporosis? That's why I was having those hip issues. You know, the constant, hip getting stuck. Back pain. Huh. Maybe I didn't have Cushing's, but let's see what Cushing's look like. Maybe I don't have Cushing's. Chronic Cushing's. Wow. Maybe I don't have Cushing's. Yeah, see, I don't have that. I do have a big belly, though, but no purple striations. Maybe it really is just insulin resistance. Maybe if it is, maybe it's just pseudo Cushing's. I mean, if this is what Cushing's looks like, yeah, I definitely don't have Cushing's. I mean, I don't have purple stretch marks anywhere. Yeah. I mean, it's possible to have. Yeah. Is this before and after, or is this after and before? Is this after, before? Is this before Cushing's, during Cushing's, or it should? Yeah, it should be this. Yeah, it's probably this is before the Cushing's. This is during the Cushing's. Mm. Probably should not be. Come on, no. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream. I don't want to accidentally get in trouble. Yeah, I'm ending the stream. Thank you. Good night.